here with head football coach David T. Sine from Johnson City. How you doing today, Coach?
Doing great, Tony. Thanks so much for having us on, and looking forward to visiting with you.
Well, thank you, Coach. So, how are you doing? How's family doing? How's the community doing under these bizarre circumstances?
I feel we're doing really well. We're doing really well, and the bright spot of all this is I've gotten to spend more time with my wife and my daughter and my son, because both of them, my children, are in college right now, but they've been home for a while. So it's really been wonderful as far as that's concerned. Now, if you ask them, has it been wonderful being around dad so much? I don't know that you would get the same answer. The
Yeah,
community is very strong. It's a close knit community, and I got to put a little blurb out on Twitter in regards to how the community has really come together, even from Carlos and his staff at Lowe's to our administration at school, and knowing that the mayor has made some decisions. So, everyone has really seemed to come together in a time that's abnormal, of course. We're looking forward to the new normal.
and hopefully that's a temporary new normal, and we can get back to normal at some point.
Exactly, exactly. That's for sure. And every day is a new adventure and a new probably a couple new rules, and trying to open up Texas right now is exciting but also scary at the same time.
Yeah. If you don't mind, let's go back about, well, 6 weeks and 2 weeks or whatever, and talk a little about as those decisions came down. All your spring athletes lost their senior seasons eventually. Talk a little bit about, especially coming from a small community like Johnson City, the impact of that, and what you're doing to try and still, boost those kids as they finish up their senior season.
It's really devastating, and probably, we have so many multi-sport kids now that are participating in tennis and track and softball, or tennis, track, and baseball. And, it's from our standpoint, we always tell the kids, you need to play as hard as you can, because you never know when your last snap is going to be, or your last at bat, or the last time you're in the blocks. And unfortunately, that came through, or came to fruition this spring. Our baseball team was 11-1-1, and a group of seniors that were extremely talented, and the sky's the limit. And that was really tough. And then we have four senior girl softball players that really were leaders of the team, and then we had a couple of young ladies that were expected to be in the state track meet. So, on top of Coach Signs, you run the ring in the spring to move the ball in the fall, and all of that is shattered and gone. You know, it's been really tough, and especially tough on senior parents. And to not know how graduation is going to be is something new. And to look back on it and say, "Hey, we survived COVID-19, and we adapted." They'll be able to tell their children about it, and then they'll be able to tell their children how important it is for every time that they step on the field or court to always give it your best, because you never know when it's going to end. But overall, and the synopsis I'll give you, Tony, is that Johnson City is a very tight knit community. The parent support has been amazing, and I'm just really comfortable in what's going on here in Blanco County.
Very good. So, talk a little bit about what you are doing to keep contact and keep the underclass kids that'll be coming back next year ready for whatever does happen, whatever the UL decides over the summer. If there's increased practices, if there's not increased practices, if we start on time, if we don't start on time, all those uncertain things. So, what are you doing to try and keep the everybody ready?
We sent out a blanket workout to all of our athletes via Remind, and then we also use Blackboard email here through our school district. Baseball and softball started using Sports U during the spring, And that'll be something that we look into again in the fall. But we haven't really utilized Sports U here. And so everything we've done is through Remind and then also through texting. I try to stay in touch with our coaches at least once a week right now. And then I reach out to a handful every day. A majority of our football players are in the workforce right now. And so I'm trying to help some teachers get some work turned in for their schoolwork. So it's been a combination of trying to get them to take care of academics and athletics. And, if you see them in the grocery store, you're asking, say, hey, how's it going? And then you see some of them and you're like, oh my goodness, you've gotten 3 inches taller. So, and I think it may be a little bit cliche, but absence makes the heart grow fonder. And I just really miss them. I texted 2 of our fullbacks this morning and asked them if they're working out, and they said we're working. And I said, okay, well, how many push-ups today? And one's pushing a wheelbarrow, and the other one is shoveling cement. So they're getting some work in. I got another guy that's working in the rock yard, and the thing that puts us on an even keel is that this is across the state of Texas, and everyone in the state is not really getting ahead of us, so to speak, because the participation from anybody in the state of Texas at any school district is not going to be 100%, in my opinion. Each family is a little bit different in regards to what they're allowed to do, how much they need to work. And then when you look at some of the parents that may not have a job right now, they're grateful that their child is able to work to create some income for the whole household. So, trying to be understanding about that, but also reaching out to them. And, it makes you feel good when you say, hey, miss you guys, and miss you too, coach. And so it's great. I also think that when we do come back, coaches, teachers, all the staff members, and our student athletes are going to be better than they've ever been before and hungrier than they've been before because of this absence.
Absolutely. Once, like you said, the mantra since heck, probably before I played was, treat every snap like it's your last snap. And having seen that actually, kids may not have actually understood what that meant, and now I think they'll have a better understanding of what that does mean. You never know when that's going to happen.
Exactly.
All right. Well, let's get a little optimistic here. Say we're going to start on time. It's going to look like similar to what we've done in the past. What can we expect to see from the Johnson City Eagles on the field this fall?
November the 8th, 2019, the Johnson City Eagles defeated the Blanco Panthers for the first time in 23 years. Under center, running the wishbone. And like I said this morning when I texted the 2 fullbacks, we will be in the under center and running the wishbone again. And I feel like that win over Blanco was really a springboard for our program. It's also the 3rd year that our staff has worked together here, and the 3rd year has always been the best. The sophomore class from last year that will be juniors is really and truly the best class that's been through here in a while. So we're excited about what they bring to the table. Our accountability system that we implemented last year that we got from Clemson is really springboarding our entire program. So we're really excited about that. Defensively, we'll return 6 starters. Offensively, we'll return 6 starters, and majority of those will be juniors next year. So the drop in 2A is wonderful. And of course, our theme is, hey, 2A, we're coming. And of course, the Mason Punchers are in our district, and everyone's going to pick them to win, and so they should. But they also thought that Blanco was going to beat Johnson City last year as well. So, I'm really excited about being in 2A. Last year, we would be in the comfort game and have a 7-0 lead in the 4th quarter and not able to hold it. I think we ran into some depth issues being in a classification higher than we should have because of enrollment. But, just because you're 2A, everyone's going to put 11 people on the field. And, we got a tough district and a lot of travel. I did draw the short straw, so to speak, in regards to the first two district games are at Ozona and at Bracketville. Both common opponents that I had when I was out west in Sonora, but we'll do a little bit of traveling. So we kind of compromised, and we're going to get freer to come to our place for a Saturday afternoon game at 2 o'clock, which is also set for homecoming. So we're going to create a college football atmosphere, tailgating starting at 8 o'clock, and we're going to have a huge parade and get ready to roll, and kickoff is set at 2. But I'm really excited. Tony, here's a fact for you. 74 years of playing football in Johnson City, ISD, there has been 7 winning teams, or 7 teams that have won a playoff game. So that number is something that we're going to try and break, and that streak is our goal to break this year, to try and win the 8th playoff game in 75 years. So there's a lot on the line, but I do believe that we're capable of doing that. And in our district, Center Point and Harper, Mason, Ozona, Brackett, it's really up for grabs. But of course, until someone knocks off Mason, they would be the favorite to win it.
Well, Coach, thanks for taking the time out. Stay safe, and definitely hope we can hook up sometime again later on.
Tony, thank you so much for what you do for Texas high school football. Have a super Eagle day, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. If you haven't seen it on Twitter, Tony, and I'm sure you probably have, this booyah is for you. Booyah.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Tony. Take care, my friend.